G'day folks, Wren here, and today I want to try and make my bookshelves less chaotic. So I was talking with my friend Max recently, and he was talking about curating my shelves for ultimate riz. I'm far too old to completely understand all those words, but I got the gist. And it was just making the bookshelves something I'm really interested in and really keen to read all the books, and so I can see all the books. So my bookshelves now, especially this queer shelf, it is double stacked, and that is the case with some of these other ones. And sometimes even just with what I have on there right now, I don't think I'm as interested in them as I like to think I am. A lot of books I've bought just because it was hyped or I saw it on a booktuber's channel. I don't know what some of these things are actually about. The more I was thinking about it, the more I was thinking that I need to make my shelves reflect what I actually want to read. My two vibes of books are really flippin' creepy or really wholesome. Those are kind of my two go-tos. A little bit of grey area in between. And some of these are just not my vibe. And I've just been thinking about this for about a week, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start this project. I'm gonna go through my shelves, and like, we're really pulling in the Marie Kondo style of organizing here. I'm not gonna hold each book and ask it if it brings me joy. I'm just gonna take the things off the shelves and then put back only the books that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to do it in each shelf section because I organise by genre, so I'll do them in little stacks. I'll probably leave my queer one to the end because that terrifies me. I am a queer person who likes reading queer stories, and I don't like unhauling queer books. That was another thing that I was talking about with Max. It's to not think of this like an unhaul, not in like any kind of negative way. I'm just curating my ideal shelves. If I try and think about it like that and not an unhaul, hopefully it'll put a nicer spin on things. We'll see how this goes. I am a little bit hesitant, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the books that I don't put on the shelves yet. I don't know if I'm actually going to unhaul them yet, or if I'm just going to put them in another room. Today I'm going to cover the top shelves, which is non-fiction, sci-fi, comics, and then in the next video I'll tackle some other shelves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull everything off, not think about it, just pull it all off, chuck it on my bed. I'll immediately put back things that just immediately, like, yeah, I know I want to read those, so I'll immediately put those back without thinking about it. And then I might go through some of them and reread the synopsis to see if it still intrigues me. And then we'll see what's left after that and how I'm going to go about doing any of this. Let's shift you up a little bit so you can see the big shelves. So, the ones right at the top, very tippy top. I'm not going to pull them down because I know that they're staying there. So we have some Middle Earth, like, dictionary type things on the side there. Those are staying. Then we have a classics collection that I really like. They're called ink blot classics. I don't know, but those are staying. Then here I have some biographies. Those are staying. I'm still interested in them. Doesn't mean I'm going to get to them anytime soon, but I am interested. And then there are 3 books there that are kind of academic non-fiction, and those are also staying. But everything else inside this, I'm going to throw on my bed. this is what we're left with. Oh boy. I'm taking this off. Pretty sure it's like 30 degrees. What was I thinking? I'm just gonna pull things off the bed and tell you why they're immediate yeses. Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is the 5th book in the Murderbot Diaries series. I love this series, it's so good. This is the first full-length novel. I'm very keen to read this, so that is a definite yes. Then I have volumes 3 to 6 of A Man and His Cat by Yumi Sakurai. I'm obsessed with this manga series. It's adorable and I love it so much. So yeah, obviously keeping these. Clanland's Almanac by Sam Hewen and Graham McTavish. This is the second non-fiction by these two actors, and I really loved Clanland's, and the second one I'm also really interested in. It's just like Scottish. Unmasking Autism by Dr. Devon Price. This is a non-fiction about autism and learning to unmask, which is a scary thing. Fractured Shards Volume 2 by Dan Furigel and Sean Keenan. This is the second volume of a comic series that I really like. I was part of the Kickstarter for it, so yes, very keen to read this. The Labyrinth Coronation Volume 1 by Simon Spurrier. This is, you know, what it is. It's the labyrinth. Not as many things are sticking out to me as I thought they would, which is scary. This is Blood Ties number 8 in the Stargate Atlantis series by Sunny Whitelaw and Elizabeth Christensen. Of course I'm going to keep this. I'm obsessed with Stargate Atlantis, so this is obviously staying. Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I read the first chapter of this when I did a try chapter tag, and this got really high on my list, so I am really keen to read this. Circe by Madeline Miller. I am interested in the story of Circe, like of who she was like as a person, as a myth, so I will give this one a go. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is a non-fiction about creativity, and ooh, I need that because university absolutely killed my creativity. Come on, something else has to immediately jump out at me, right? Oh no, this is not looking good. Okay, Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvelle. Yeah, Sylvain Nouvelle. I am interested in the concept of this, of like, there's a giant robot hand. Death Note Volume 2, the Black Edition by Tsugumi Oba and Takashi Abata. I really loved the first volume. I think it's super interesting and I definitely need to continue on with this. Dead Woman Walking by Alan L. Peters. I picked this up because when I was doing a ghost tour of the Adelaide jail, they were talking about this book because there was an innocent woman got hanged in the Adelaide jail. I love how I'm really interested to read these books and I haven't yet. And some of them have been on my shelves for like at least 3 years. Hovercar Racer by Matthew Riley. I do enjoy Matthew Riley's writing. They're always very entertaining and a hovercar race sounds interesting. Then The Trial of Lizzie Borden by Cara Robertson. I love the story of Lizzie Borden, so I'm very keen to read anything about that. And then Pride, the inspiring true story behind the hit film, The Unlikely Stories of the Unsung Heroes of the Miners' Strike by Tim Tate. I love this movie. It's such a good movie and I obviously want to read a book about it. And also very important issues, so that's cool. Okay, surprisingly, the non-fictions have been easier to be like, yeah, I want to read that. Del Toro Quest Volume 1 by Emily Rodda and Makoto Niwand. It's a manga of Del Toro Quest. This is surprisingly not going as well as I thought it would. Okay, The Hidden Witch by Molly Knox Ostertag. This is the second in the Witch Boy graphic novel series. I really enjoyed the first one, definitely want to continue. How to Train Your Dragon, Dragonvine. I'm obsessed with all things How to Train Your Dragon, so definitely. And A-OK by Jared Green. This is about acne and asexuality. And yeah, it's a graphic novel, so I am definitely still interested in this. I'm struggling. The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. I love all of Rick Riordan's works that I've read, so definitely want to continue on. Okay, so I think that's all of the ones where it's an immediate, I don't have to think about it. Which if you think about it, that's really not much. Like, let's have a look at these shelves. Like, that's the shelves. That's nothing. And we have all of this. What am I going to do? Okay, I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read the backs of some of these and see what I'm thinking. And I'm going to try and make some piles. Okay, some progress has been made. I found 2 more that were instant yeses. The Dark History of the Occult, Magic, Madness and Murder by Paul Rowland. I love occult stuff, and this is a non-fiction, so yeah, this was gonna stay. And On Monsters, An Unnatural History of Our Worst Fears by Stephen T. Asma. Similarly, it's like literally the history of monsters, so these 2 definitely staying. And again, it's easier for me to instantly want to keep non-fiction, and yet I don't read it that often. What's up with that? Then I made 2 piles so far. This pile is the BookTube made me do it pile. So these are all ones that I bought because I saw them on BookTube. So I know Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer came from Kayla from Books and Lala, and I saw it so I bought it. And like, as someone who doesn't eat meat, maybe I should read this, but I'm also not sure what it's about. And like, do I really want to be challenged this much with my eating when I'm already restricted enough? So this is going to go in like a maybe pile. Then we have Lore by Alexandra Bracken. This was so hyped when it first came out, and then everyone didn't like it. But like, it sounds good, but then again, that's what everyone said. And like, no matter how good it sounds, I don't think I heard one good review about this. So again, this is on a, I'm not sure. Then we have Medusa, the Girl Behind the Myth by Jessie Burton. Again, this was hyped when this came out. Don't know what it's about. I mean, I do like the story of Medusa. I am interested in it. And the art in this is kind of cool. And it could be a quick read, so I think I'll keep this. Then we have The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. I heard about this on Katie Colson's channel. The way she talked about it, I was like, yeah, I want to read that. And it's a non-fiction about Ted Bundy, told from like his neighbor. Yeah, they were friends. I think I will keep this. Then we have Three Women by Lisa Taydow. I heard about this from Leanne from Literary Diversions. It's a non-fiction about 3 women. I don't know if I'm actually interested in it. We're gonna go into maybe. Then we have Leviathan Wakes by S.A. Corey. Everyone who is reading sci-fi really loves this. I don't know anything about it. And then lastly, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I heard about this first on Aaron from Booked and Busy's channel. It's large. I don't know what it's about, but I bought it. Ooh, a relic. Odyssey. Yeah, okay, this does actually sound interesting. Damn, but it's so large. Okay, this does sound kind of interesting, so I'm going to keep this one. Okay, then a couple more yeses. So I went through the comics and manga. So we have Friends with Boys by Faith Erin Hicks. There are ghosts, so of course I'm going to keep this. Then a couple manga. We have Bleach Volume 1 by Tite Kubo. Again, there are ghosts. Haiku Volume 1 by Haruchi Furudate. This is just such a phenomenon that I'm intrigued to see why. And then Pet Shop of Horrors Volume 1 by Matsuri Akino. This had like mythical creatures with like a price to pay type thing. So that also sounded interesting. And then for some comics, we have The Once and Future Queen, Volume 1 by Navin Kirkbride. This is a King Arthur retelling, but it's a girl. I don't know, it sounded like it could just be fun enough. Like, I'm not super psyched about it, but who knows? Maybe I'll end up loving it. But yeah, for some reason, I was just like, yeah, I'll keep it. Because at least like it sounds like it'll be fun. I know this isn't technically maximum Riz. I still want to keep it, so there's that. And then I have the first 6 volumes of The Olympians by George O'Connor. So we have Zeus, Athena, Hera, Hades, Persephone and Aphrodite. I am pretty sure these are just like the the origin stories of all of these gods. You know, like everyone else, I am interested in Greek gods, so I might as well keep them around just to see like what they are. And like, you know, it could be interesting. But yeah, I need to read these sooner rather than later because they've been around for a while. Okay, and then I went through the Sci-Fis and read all the backs. Some of these are interesting. So The Power by Naomi Alderman. It's feminist. Of course I want to keep it. The Homeward Bounders by Diana Wynne Jones. This is such like a classic children's sci-fi. I am interested to read it. Also, this was mentioned in one of my favourite fanfics, so I'm gonna read it for that mainly. This is Adam 2 by Alistair Chisholm. This is about a robot. It's like a middle grade sci-fi. There's a robot. They're being hunted. It just sounds fun. We have Robopocalypse by Daniel H. Wilson. It's a robot apocalypse. War. I like robots, okay? And then I have Unearthed and Undying by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is a sci-fi duology, and there's a bit of archaeology thrown in there and alien artifacts, so of course I was interested. And then the last of the sci-fis is Vox by Christina Dalcher. You only have 100 words each day to speak. That sounds interesting. Okay, so we're filling up a little bit now. I will prettyify the shelves soon. I do have one book series that I don't know what to do about. And that is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I have the entire series. I don't know. Like, just reading the synopsis of the first one, it doesn't sound like my thing, but it's such a beloved sci-fi classic that I kind of want to read it. But like at the same time, could I not just watch the movie? So I think this is going to go on my maybe pile. Can someone tell me, can I just watch the movie or should I read the books? And then I have a little, very small geek pack. So I have 2 Torchwood novels. So I have Consequences by, wow, lots of people. James Moran, Joseph Lidster, Andrew Cartmel, Sarah Pinbar, and David Llewellyn. And then I also have The House That Jack Built by Guy Adams. These are the only 2 Torchwood books that I have. I love Torchwood. I think I'm just going to get rid of these because they're the only 2 that I have. I don't plan on collecting the whole series. We're going for maximum Riz. They're not rizzing. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. Then I have the Doctor Who Time Lord Fairy Tales. I don't know if I'm ever gonna read this, but I don't think it's something I want to get rid of. But I think I'll just take it off like an active TBR. So I think I'm just gonna put it like behind my other sci-fi books. Alright, let me show you what I got left. Well then, non-fiction and a couple retellings. Okay, some more piles have been made. I've gone through the rest of the non-fiction and the retellings, and this is what I am left with. We have Rebel Women Who Changed Australia by Susanna de Vries. This is again one that I'm going to take off my like active TBR. I still want to keep it, but it's not a book that I'm ever gonna read in one sitting. Like it's a big chunky book, but I'm gonna keep it. Then we have The Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy, What Animals on Earth Reveal About Aliens and Ourselves by Dr. Eric Kirschenbaum. This just sounds interesting. It's like theorizing what aliens would be like based on the animals that we already have on Earth. Like, that sounds interesting. We have Unexplained by John Pinkney. Again, this is one of those occult, alien, magic, ghosty type things that I really love in non-fiction, and it's set in Australia, so I'm keeping that. Then we have The True Story of the Manson Murders, Helter Skelter, by Vincent Bugliosi and Kurt Gentry. I don't actually know anything about the Manson family, so I am going to keep this. And, you know, like everyone else in the world, I love a good true crime story. Then we have Empowered by V. Cativo. This is by a booktuber that I used to watch a lot, and it's very much about like setting goals and all this kind of thing, so I'm going to keep this. Then we have Love Wins by Debbie Senipser and Jim Obergefell. it's been a long day, guys. But this is basically detailing how marriage equality was passed in America. So that is of interest to me. Then we have Ill Feelings by Alice Hattrick. This is about a chronic illness. And it also seems like the main character uses they, them pronouns, which is awesome. But yeah, chronic illness stuff I am interested in as well. So those are the non-fictions. Then the retellings I decided to keep was Ithaca by Patrick Dillon. This is about Odysseus's son trying to find his dad. We have Peter Pan in Scarlet by Geraldine McCaffrey. This is the unofficial sequel to Peter Pan, and I love the Peter Pan story, so there's that. Speaking of loving Peter Pan, we have Peter and the Stargazers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. This is kind of like a how did Peter and Hook meet? So that's interesting. And then the last one is The Penelopead by Margaret Atwood. This is the myth of Penelope and Odysseus, but more so Penelope. Okay, and then I have the piles that I'm not keeping. This little pile here are books I'm going to give to Max. So Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor. I know Max recently read this and loved it. I read the first chapter in my try chapter tag and it was fine, but I didn't super care. And then we have 4 manga that Max may or may not like, I don't know. Peacemaker Volume 1, didn't sound like my thing. Moon Phase Volume 1, also didn't sound like my thing. And then Volume 1 and 2 of Tenjo Tenge, again, not my thing. All of these are more like action-y fight thing, which isn't of interest to me. So then I have a pile of maybes, which are ones that I'm not going to put back on the shelf. I'll put them in a bag, put them in the other room, but they're not going up here because I haven't officially decided to get rid of them, but they do not bring the riz, so they're not going on the shelf. Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. 3 Women by Lisa Tato. Lore by Alexandra Bracken. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series by Douglas Adams. Again, let me know, should I just watch the movie? Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. Moonology by Yasmin Boland. Mighty Jack and the Goblin King by Ben Hatke. The Bees by Lenine Paul. We Dream of Space by Erin Entrada Kelly. And 9 by Zach Hines. And then lastly, we have the pile of definitely going off my shelves and definitely going somewhere else. Of the 2 Torchwood books. Goodbye. Have The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Schultz. I like books set in water where people are like diving, but then this had to do with like reincarnation and it mixed together. I didn't care. We have Day Zero by Kelly DeVos. It's very much dystopian, didn't sound interesting enough for me to want to keep. We have Instinction by Lizzie Wilcox. It's about trying to reverse extinction of the world. I don't super care. We have The Library of Ice by Nancy Campbell. I never really understood what this was about, but I bought it anyways. I still don't know what it's about, so I'm gonna let it go. Scottish Ghosts by Lily Seafield. This should be something I really like because it's ghosts plus Scotland, but I really don't like the way this is set out and that really frustrates me, so I'm just gonna let it go. Elias Hook by Lisa Jensen. This is a Peter Pan retelling, but it definitely doesn't sound like my type of thing. I think it's much more of like a romance between Hook and some random person. Australia's Most Evil Women by Paul B. Kidd. Didn't care enough. Feminist Fatale by Jan Bowen. Don't super care enough about it anymore, and this is my lowest rated book, so I'm just gonna let it go anyways. And then Phosphorescence by Julia Baird. I think I just bought this because I saw it around, but it's not my vibe. That was me trying to curate at least my top shelves. Okay, so it's kind of been a few days, but I have finally figured out how this top section is going to look. So, like I said, the books at the top here weren't really changing. I did just add Ill Feelings up there because that is more of a autobiography type thing, so that's where all of those go. Then this top shelf here, we have all of my retelling type things, and I have my little Egyptian statue there that I got when I was like 12. Then in the middle I put all of my poetry books there. They were on a different shelf, but I had so much room that I decided I will put the poetry there in their own section. And then the last square there is full of my anthologies, which again I moved from a different section because I had some room. And then we have a little elephant figurine there as well. And then going down to this section, we have all of my sci-fi books I have left over. We have all of my comics and manga in the middle. And I was even able to fit my remaining volumes of Cells at Work there. The last square is all of my non-fiction that is not autobiographical. There we have it. That is curating the best possible top shelf section. So we have retellings, poetry, anthologies, non-fiction, sci-fi, and comics and manga. I think it's looking pretty good. So that'll be my next one in this series. Classics and contemporaries, going through them, trying to find ones that I actually want to keep, and curating more of a bookshelf that is to my taste, not to what's popular or who's talking about it on BookTube. So can you tell this has been hard work? Because I'm sweaty. Thank you for watching me throw around some books, and I will see you in my next one, when I will be doing this with different shelves. Bye.